Procedurals. I like trying to figure it out by myself.
Guys, welcome to the Ranger Wrap-Up. We're here live at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. Thank you for bringing us into your, wherever you're watching us from, on your Saturday. Dude, did you burp again?
I'm sorry,
It smells like a roll of beef jerky when you do that.
It's pineapple chicken.
Snap into a Slim Jim,
It's pineapple chicken.
What's going on with you?
Pineapple chicken.
Yeah.
But this is the Ranger Wrap-Up. I am Joe, joined, as always, by...
Jesus.
And...
Daniel.
And as you see, we have a little bit of a new look for the show. That is thanks to some of your super chats. As you can see, we have a ticker here. These are the things we're going to run down, things we're going to talk about.
This feels like that show with, the sports show with, what's that dude's name?
Yep, you got it. And we are going to be talking about the latest in Power Rangers. We're going to be talking about what's going on, what's coming up, the latest news, and an episode review of the latest episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, as you can see, I'm wearing a brand new Power Rangers shirt. Got this from Nakia Baris. It is an Infinity War Power Rangers shirt. But if you like cool shirts, you can check out ours at the TeePublic store.
Yeah.
In description below has our links. TeePublic is great. They have a lot of cool shirts, but ours in particular is where you can get your Power Ranger shirt.
I actually saw two people at Long Beach Comic Con with the RPM shirts.
Really?
I did. That's the truth.
Man.
Oh. Yeah,
That's the
he did. That is true, and I can
That
name
is the
those two
truth.
people.
Yep, that's the truth.
He did. Those shirts, which ones were the hottest sellers? Power Rangers in
Fast and
Space?
Furious and Star Wars.
Yeah, those were great. So get your shirts at our TeePublic store. Description below. There's our beautiful shirts.
God, look at him.
Oh, I should have worn the Fast and Furious one today.
Yeah.
Because Nakia was there.
You should have. You didn't even
But
think
you were
about
the
it.
Red Ranger
Didn't
today.
think about
It's
it,
fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, the only thing that makes you not Jason today is that you have sleeves.
I could roll.
Yeah.
Roll 'em up.
Yeah.
Roll them up, ASJ.
Yeah, let's
And then
do this.
just kind of slightly yell. Well, but not too much. Not to peak. Just like, kind of, hey guys.
All right, so we're going to be talking about a lot of Power Ranger news, but the first thing, cosplay never stops. There's your shirt. First
you,
bit of
Nagami.
news we want to get into is Jiraiya enters Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel.
What?
So for all of you guys that don't know who Jiraiya is, he is one of the Metal Heroes.
Yeah.
He is a character in that Tokusatsu world. But guys, let's take this to Jezzer. What do you think about Jiraiya entering Power Rangers Ninja Steel?
I think it's cool to have a bunch of like cameos of other new characters. You know who would be cool to have show up on Ninja Steel is Ninjor.
I'm sure it would be.
Like,
I've
what
been
if-
saying that from like jump.
I'm sorry.
Why are we not seeing Ninja?
I don't know. Ninja. I mean, this guy looks cool too, but I feel like Ninjor would be more like it's bringing it back to the what is it, Kaku Ranger? I think Kaku Ranger.
Well, can you give me an episode description of what's supposed to be happening in the episode he appears in? It's episode 14, I believe.
Yep. In the 14th episode description, Ninja Steel is to be a Japanese Metal Heroes series character. Jiraiya may be appearing in Super Ninja Steel as Sheriff Skyfire, who Madame Odious believes that the Ninja Rangers had stolen the Ninja Nexus prism. Yeah.
So, what do you think about the name there, Ninja Skyfire?
Ninja Skyfire.
Nothing too special for me, really, about Ninja Skyfire. His look is what's really big for me. Honestly, I feel that his look kind of reminds me of what they look like when they wear the lion.
The lion
and
armor.
I'm like, is
Yeah.
he gonna say like somehow is that far more connected because of that? Like, I don't know.
Interesting. Well, regardless, I think it's great because it opens the door to other Tokusatsu characters appearing and crossing over into Power Rangers. And I think that's something that we haven't seen in quite a while since The Masked Rider back in Power
Yeah.
Rangers
Yeah.
Season 3. So this is going to be pretty cool on that end. Now,
Have you ever seen that series before?
I've never seen any of the Metal Hero series personally. I've only seen Kamen Rider, and that's only one season of Kamen Rider. And I've seen Super Sentai. I guess, in essence, in Q Ranger, there was a Metal Hero, Space Sheriff Gavin that did appear
yeah.
in that.
yeah.
So I guess,
Pika, Pika.
in if you're going in that aspect, I guess I have technically. But I'm just it's kind of cool to see that they're kind of bringing that tradition back. And maybe it's kind of opening the doors for the tradition of bringing the team-ups back.
Well, do you
I
think
like that.
you see how they adapted Super Sentai? Do you think they're gonna go back to adapting Kamen Rider?
I certainly hope so. I think it really is going to all depend on how well Beast Morpher does.
Yeah.
To really start getting into that.
Did you guys see at Power MorphCon they did actually have a Kamen Rider at the show, American Kamen Rider at the show?
The Dragon Knight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dragon Knight
He was just a little unrecognized because he had put on some weight. He's actually one of Brennan's best friends. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into our next subject, keeping on the Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel theme. Let's talk about the fall release. We know that Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel has a few new episodes coming out for the fall release. Jezzer, run them down for us in just a second here. You don't know?
No.
All right, so we do know that the fall release is happening. Don't worry, it's on our website.
February 19th.
Nope, that's the wrong story, buddy.
No, February 19th.
There, you want to click that guy. Come on. Preparation, pal. Preparation. So give us some rundowns on some of these episodes, Jezzer.
We watched Outfox Dimensions Danger. The next one is going to be Prepare to Fail. Sarah gets overconfident about the test while Madame Odious summons one of her strongest monsters, Brax.
Let's stop there for a second. Are you excited to see another Sarah episode?
Really, no, but I'm really excited that Madame Odious is going to make an appearance, which she always does.
I agree with you. I agree
Odious.
with you,
really
though.
do.
I'm not super excited about Sarah. She's not one of my favorite Rangers on this season.
Also, this is another one about her taking a test.
Yes,
Didn't
I
she
was going to
cheat
say,
last
didn't
time?
we just,
She
I was
cheated
gonna
last
say,
time. It's
so
like,
why are we
okay,
doing
wait,
this
you're
again?
super confident now. You just like went from not knowing anything to having to cheat to just being super confident.
Well, super confident because now she's learned how to cheat properly. I think that's her thing. She's like, got the answers.
Let's go on to the next one, Jezzer.
The title is to be announced, but Madame Odious calls out on Sheriff Skyfire to steal the Ninja Storm Nexus prison.
Something we just talked about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
After that.
Also, episode 15, the evil Typeface attempts to render the Power Rangers weapons useless by the means of a computer virus.
What was that villain's name again?
Yeah.
Typeface.
Typeface?
Typeface.
Okay.
Why? Typeface. I think he might be a computer or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a typewriter?
Typeface or maybe a keyboard on his face.
So weird. All right, next one.
The Rangers must combat a new monster who steals electricity from cars to charge the city.
Okay. And?
That's all of them.
That's all of them.
Episode 16. It's to be announced, but do we have another hiatus coming up soon?
We possibly might.
Jeez.
So you excited about any of those episodes we just heard about?
No.
No.
Especially none of them sound like, ooh, riveting. Nothing yet.
Now, here's another story. We're going to move on to our next story because that seemed like that was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Next story, and by the way, as you guys already know that we have a super chat available in the comments. You guys know this moves pretty fast. We get more and more viewers. So thank you guys so much again for joining us. But as those views come in, if you want us to read your comment and you want to chime in, you can hit that super chat feature and it helps us see that comment. It stays there and we'll mention it because as you see now, we have more assets on this show, which I kind of like it. I like it. All right, so we're going to move on to our next subject, and that is moving into the comic book side of things. Soul of the Dragon. Tommy, Jason David Frank himself, said he'll actually be appearing as the Red Turbo Ranger.
Yes!
And it looks like we were probably going to get our origin to the Master Morpher.
Well, time out though. I mean, was that really a big surprise? Because even the cover already has Turbo on there.
I think he's primarily the Red Turbo Ranger in this.
Whoa, that's different. That's different.
You like that, or do you not like that?
I mean, his stint as a Turbo Ranger is not as long as we thought it was. I mean, sure, they had a full feature-length movie, but I kind of considered TJ more of the Turbo Red Ranger than Tommy, even though he didn't start off as the Red Turbo Ranger. I see him more iconic as green and white.
Since he did not appear as the Red Turbo Ranger in Danger and Dimension, how do you feel about this decision, Daniel?
I'm excited because the thing is, a lot of fans have been asking for it. They were clamoring for it. They were upset that he didn't do it on the anniversary. Yeah. So it was interesting.
I mean, it was a 22-minute episode. So
very true. But people were just like, I wanted that too. But I was like, God, you wanted everything.
Yeah.
And that's where it became like, well, it's too much to do all at once, and I got it. So I'm glad to see that still we are getting what we wanted. I know MJ Spud's happy. I saw the comments.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to see him coming back as Red Turbo, mainly because we didn't get it focused on Dimensions in danger, but I'm more excited to see the origin of the Master Morpher.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
We know that the plot line has to do with his son. His son is a new member of SPD.
JJ, a young recruit, I think.
A young recruit in SPD. So this is all kind of tied together. I know people are saying, oh, he doesn't have the turbo powers anymore. We also have to remember, too, that this is in the comic universe.
And he didn't technically have the Green Ranger powers
I was
anymore.
just going to say,
the White Ranger powers anymore. The Zeo one was like...
He still
had the Zeo.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, during the movie they didn't really explain it. Like, did they...
They got an upgrade of powers.
Yeah.
They didn't have to explain the upgrade of powers. It's got an upgrade of powers.
that was it.
So in your headcanon, Jezzer, since you kind of know a little bit about this information, give me your assessment on...
Like how Soul of the Dragon can...
No. Give me your assessment on who should have what powers. Because there is some confusion, a little bit of confusion here.
Okay.
So, do the Space Rangers have the turbo powers currently?
Yes. The Space Rangers still have their turbo powers. But actually, no, because when what's her name? The space pirate. The one that took down the command center. I think
Divatox?
Divatox.
Oh, okay.
When she invaded the command center and
she destroyed
everything, I think the powers dissipated at that time.
So no more turbo powers.
Yeah. Only person that did have turbo powers in space was Justin. But that was only because
he wasn't
what's the Mountain Blaster? I brought it to him. The truck or the Jeep truck.
That was the Power Rangers in space. That's a good.
Yeah.
Good
That's right. That's right.
But also, I mean, I think really the only powers that Tommy should have is Turbo and not Turbo because he gave that to DJ. Dino Thunder. Oh wait, no, Dino Thunder. They used all their powers to destroy, to bring back what's that? The bad guy's name.
Jeez.
I don't know these villains' names. They make them so like I only know Rito, Zed, Astronema.
Machine Empire Man?
Huh?
You know what that means? What does that mean?
Uh-oh.
You know what that means?
My rocker is broken. I said that on a previous show. I need to get it fixed. And so I can't tell when it's silent or not.
Yeah, you know what that means.
I'll get you guys' beers.
Okay, I want to go to the chat real quick. What powers? First of all, what do you guys think about Soul the Dragon and Tommy? And what powers? Who should have what powers? I'm going to read some of these at random since there's no super chats yet. But we're going to go with Blue JD. Says TJ had his turbo powers in Forever Red.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So then do you think TJ gave it back to Tommy?
Mikey Perez says the green coin wasn't destroyed, but it technically was. The powers were dissipated.
Yeah.
That's how Tommy lost his power.
That's the only reason why he became the White Ranger.
The reason why he became the White Ranger. History, pal. History. Bat Ranger says TJ should keep the turbo powers.
TJ should keep the turbo powers. I think so too.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine it.
Why would he give him right back to Tommy after Forever Red? But
imagine it like when a new president comes in. Does the old president get to stay at the White House?
No.
Larry Newble says Jezzer, get a case of beer. Edward Sanchez says I'm looking forward to reading Soul the Dragon. I Am Negro says Tommy should have mom or should have white and black Dino Thunder. So there's a lot of comments that are flooding in. That'd have been.
I mean, the White Ranger power got destroyed when the command center was blown up at that time too, right? That's why they had to go to Zeo.
But I thought, maybe Zordon says that the White Ranger powers can never be taken over by the. And he never says they can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
He just says they can't ever convert them evil.
It's too pure that it can't become evil.
Huh.
It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of thinking. Yeah. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Again, and now we started this topic. Last week we talked about it briefly on the Retro Range wrap up. Me and Elle did, and then me and Ro carried it on over to the Star Wars show. Dope. And now we're gonna talk about this here. First and foremost, Adi Shankar. We're gonna go in order here. Adi Shankar shocked fans with ignorant comments directed towards Star Wars.
Now, what were the ignorant comments?
He pretty much said that Star Wars was a stupid franchise. And that Power Rangers is better, and the reason I'll read them to you. Actually, we're gonna go and read them because I'd like to hear what you guys think. I'd like to hear your comments.
Adi's still alive, though, right? Huh? He's still alive, right?
I will say this.
Are you in hiding, Adi?
Realistically, he does make some valid points.
Oh no, I mean,
I'm sure he does. But
trust me, if there's anyone that can pick apart. Like when it comes to fandoms, it's someone that's actually watched the fandoms
or creates films of his own.
Where, exactly.
Did
where
you
you're
see
like,
that Punisher film?
Oh come on, dude! Saw the Punisher film.
Okay,
saw the Ranger bootleg.
Here's what he says. Says I literally think Star Wars is not as cool as Power Rangers. Power Rangers is not about good versus evil. It's not It's not and never has been. It's through a lens in which the stories are told to us. Through a lens, this narrative lens, but really it's about shades of gray, and it's always been about shades of gray. It's about people working together to overcome those shades of gray, though through a single point of view. That's why Power Rangers are super powerful. Star Wars is about good versus evil. I don't know what the Empire did wrong. I still have no idea. I still don't know. They got up and dressed the same, and they were like, and the rebels, killed them because they dress the same. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, they blew up a planet. I think that makes them evil. But that's a cheap reason to want to hate someone. The point is, Power Rangers is way doper than Star Wars. Whoa. First of all, let's dissect that first comment.
Okay. Honestly,
some valid points.
He's got some valid points. Because the thing is, if you don't read any of the comics or any of the books, and all you know is Star Wars from film, what did the Empire do before blowing up whatever that planet was? What
Alderaan?
did they do? Alderaan, like
collecting powers and then oppressing people.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, all we know is that it was like, okay, if you're gonna go chronologically, and you're seeing the birth of the Empire and then it getting to where it was. We go from like Darth Vader's whole change into being evil, and then we stop and we come back and here's Luke, and it's like now the Empire's in charge, and it's like this time in between you're like, so all this stuff, you just know that they oppress people, you just know that they assume power, and they were like, we're in charge, no one else is in charge, and that's how it works. But it was like, what did they do? I just want to know. I would love to know what exactly they did.
They kind of took it into their own hands to change from like a democracy to a imperialistic world.
Right.
So then it takes the power out of the citizens' hands to control over what this group of people can do with the whole galaxy.
I guess I'm not a fan of Space Congress.
Yeah.
And that was my thing.
So that's why I said you're not a fan of Star Trek?
Oh, yeah. Star Trek sometimes, oh boy.
So they
Josh is gonna hate me for that.
So they pretty much, I mean...
No, but they don't know who he is anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty much it's what Adi Shankar is saying is there are some valid points, but you can't really compare the two. It's really hard to compare these two.
You clearly can. He just did.
No, he's comparing like good versus evil. He's not really like one for one comparing.
Well, we're gonna get to that in a second. Audience, I want you guys to chime in. If you guys want your comment voiced for sure, hit that super chat feature. But now I'm gonna carry on with what he says. And audience or chat, I want you guys to chime in. Now he goes on to say, dude, I think Star Wars is fucking horrible. I think Star Wars is a terrible franchise. It has terrible values. What are we teaching people with Star Wars, right? Oh, yeah, like, we're the rebels, and we're just going to blow people up who dress the same. Like, it's good versus evil. It's terrible because there's really very little evil out there. The evil is taught to us through a narrative. But the evil has a point of view. The evil has a perspective. If you don't get into the perspective of the evil, then how do you know how do you know you're not evil? Actually, a valid point.
That is a
but
very...
you did get into the perspective of evil.
So we didn't necessarily.
No, but evil.
In Star Wars, we did. I mean, you got to see the perspective of evil. Literally, the
you
birth.
Burp again, man.
I know.
You got to point your face in another direction.
You see the birth. You see the birth and you see the gestation period and the birth of evil.
But what makes?
As far as Darth
hold on,
Vader.
wait. What
makes
the Sith evil?
Killing children definitely, I think, makes you evil.
The killing children was a...
But then if you take it in that perspective, you are holding children in slavery when you're a Jedi. So what's really the difference?
If the parents actually say, well, then I'm going to give you up to it.
Some of these parents
didn't. Some of these parents didn't
Oh, no,
necessarily.
that's very true. That's very true.
Some of these parents did not. As soon as they had that midichlorian level, then they were just kind of taken like, oh, you are...
I mean, isn't that essentially it's like having a pure bloodline that they try to...
Yeah.
So
right?
technically, who is the villain in this story?
It's all from perspective.
So is it all shades of
No,
gray?
the point is, when we get to the Empire, we don't necessarily see... I mean, yes, we know that the Emperor wants power, but he doesn't want it to... I mean, he doesn't want it to like, necessarily oppress people. Okay. He just wants a state of order. I think he just wants a state of order.
What is the state of order? Why do you have to blow up a planet to have that state of order?
Well, I think that's an Alderaan. That's because that was a war criminal type thing.
So then...
But listen, as much as we claim, I mean, technically, if we're looking at it from that perspective, Andros killed Zordon, right? That killed something too.
Very
so
true.
you have this. You definitely have to take the good with the bad. I think that we've never seen the Empire's story told on why people want to join.
That's why. Okay, that's what I'm like. Still, I have this.
Well, most of the
time
army
and stuff.
were clones, so they were kind of like built to just follow in this Empire's footsteps, right?
Exactly.
So then,
and
but
then
I mean,
as we
it
go
all
on
goes.
later
It all
in the
comes down
future,
to
we have
really,
people that are there.
really, the Empire kind of like grew, kind of secretly a little bit. Like these are people that were not happy with how things are going, and now they just changed up how the galaxy worked.
Okay, we're gonna read some of these comments. Says Gerald Hodges said, "This is why." Ouch! I only seen Star Wars, the Clone Wars, but more on PR. Masked Rider Blue says, "Okay, Adi, if Star Wars is so bad, explain the millions of fans it has over the world, over the niche Power Rangers is in." I mean, I will say one thing to comment about that. As many people want to say that the franchise of listen, they're two different franchises.
Yeah.
Yep.
However,
Yeah.
the Power Ranger movie was better than the Han Solo movie.
Oh,
straight
definitely.
We've all said
I,
that.
I haven't even seen Solo yet.
Yeah, and I know that to be a fact, and I haven't seen Solo yet.
I haven't seen Solo
There you
yet.
go. That's horrible.
Matthew Thompson. No, I think it is a better movie than Han Solo. For real, no
Yeah,
joke.
I haven't even seen it.
Matthew Thompson says, "I've never been a big Star Wars guy, but the Power Rangers has more untapped potential." I agree with that.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah, it has untapped potential.
Layla says Power Rangers has always been about good versus evil. However, the franchise has evolved, and we have seen gray areas in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So
The
DDT
thing-
Cosplay says Sith versus Jedi perspective is the best part of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, because
All right.
I mean, they're not so different.
No.
They're not. So we're gonna move on to our next topic today. And
Wait. The Civil War thing.
oh yeah, we got to get to the Civil War, of course.
I had thoughts.
So Adi Shankar also wants to do a Power Ranger Civil War, but he's not the first that said that. It was the dude that wrote Forever Red, Amit. He had a whole show based around it. Instead of Ninja Storm,
Hexagon.
it's supposed to be Power Rangers Hexagon.
Exactly. That was the whole thing where it was like people are pooping on him right now. Like, oh, why can you think about that? But it was like Hexagon was supposed to be the show that didn't exist.
But Adi Shankar, he could probably do it, right? If he
It's a fan film.
as a fan film,
Yeah.
yes.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's really dissect this, and I want to hear the audio, or you guys in the chat chime in as well. How would you each do your Hexagon stories, or I don't want to call it Hexagon? How would you do your Power Ranger Civil War stories?
Can I?
You're just gonna steal Hexagon?
No. Can we have like a starting point, kind of like how Civil War did?
I mean, if you
that's
look
what
at
Hexagon
Hexagon,
is.
it is.
That's
Civil
exactly
Yeah.
it. Is it
But-
Tommy and Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But how would you do this?
the general public will want to have control over or feel like they have the right to have control over what the Power Rangers can do, so they kind of like militarize it. a
Oh,
little
so
bit.
cool! You're doing exactly like Civil War.
Yeah, it's
Very original,
it's
Jezzer.
politics,
Very
it's-
original.
It's a political force versus a military force.
Yeah.
That's the best way to actually get it done. That's the best way to actually have it become a whole fight, where it's like, no, politically, we should be placed everywhere, and blah blah blah.
Who would you have-
And you're
who would you have
no,
lead
So
the
I don't
team?
think I would do it like that at all. No, not at all.
I think,
The
I
thing
think
is,
it's just like
I wouldn't-
those two ideals would be some that automatically always end up fighting, and it just sounds realistic.
We got our first super chat. Bat Ranger says, "I think the Order will do a good job." Jezzer, go ahead.
No, well,
I don't think so. I don't think the Order
Okay.
even knows what the Order is.
I think that everybody, me personally, bless you. I think everybody. Bless you. That was me on
Sorry.
Thursday. If you guys watch
Yeah,
after
yeah,
show.
definitely.
it's like it starts and goes.
Me personally, I think that the Civil War idea, I would not do it.
It's played out.
Yeah, everybody's gonna do it. Why would you do that?
But I think that it wouldn't be Jason and Tom. I think one of those leaders would be Billy.
See, I think the
Ooh.
interesting thing about doing with it Power Rangers is change it up.
Yeah.
I think that you would have something the Rangers that follow the Zordon Cree and the Rangers that don't. And the Rangers that don't, they're like, you know what? Zordon was the old school way of thinking. And obviously, you know, he fought for all the good, but there are, and like have somebody like Kruger be like, no, there are areas of shades of gray.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why Power Rangers are the way it is now. And then I would do it like, okay, we're going to take the science department. Kruger takes all the science community in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Billy, he takes Kendall. He takes all the, and then they're like, you know what? The smarter way, and they come up with their own committee, and they're like, the smarter way to do this is if we put Power Rangers here, here, and here. And then like, no, we don't want to do that. And then the other ones are like, no, this is all just about good versus evil. And then you do your Civil War that way, make it a long form story. That's what I would do. Make the real villains here be Kruger. I would have it Kruger, the pro Kruger people, and almost have the Zordon era people or the people that follow Zordon almost like a church of Zordon.
I feel like Adi Shankar kind of already set it up in that last Power Ranger fan film that he did, where Billy kind of went off and like reverse engineered the power blasters and kind of use it. That he tried to mass produce it for the masses. I feel like that's something he could probably do a sequel to that, but before everyone dies, and have that become Civil War.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Civil War sounds like a cool idea, and it would be, but I feel that, especially off the heels off the Civil War in Marvel, I was gonna say the real Civil War, but that. I mean, we can.
Hold on.
the Civil War in Marvel kind of has more of a. I mean, it is the precedent. You'd have to shake things up, but you'd have to really, really shake things up dramatically in order to get an original story out of that. But it's easy. I think it is easy to do.
I think the reason why
I agree with you. Billy should be one of the leaders.
I think the reason why they want to do a Civil War thing is there's so many great Power Ranger teams and Power Ranger characters, but we don't really have like a solid villain team for them to go up against. So I mean, they're fighting all these.
No, I think it's everything. I think look, if you take Civil War, even in Marvel, DC did it first with Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman. So like
you kind of want to see who. It's like when you're hanging out parties, like, oh, who's a better fighter, him or him?
No, the truth is it's the best way to do it is to have heroes fight is have a battle or a war of ideals. That's how it always works.
Well, that's why the Zordon thing works. Is
Exactly.
like the Zordon thing works.
Where
because
he said making a church of Zordon.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
genius.
not even a church, but like a Zordon kind of creed of like, this is what Zordon stood for. This is what his rules were. His rules were that never use your power for personal gain, never reveal your identity, and whatever. But then you have other Rangers that are like, no, like the public should know who we are.
Would you like it if Andros ran that?
No.
Because the whole thing is like he has a bit closer connection because he's like, I was the last one with Zordon.
I don't know if I would have.
I did it because Zordon told me to.
I don't think he was that super connected to Zordon.
See, but that's the thing.
I think the Ranger that you want to run that would have to be Tommy.
Yeah?
Because Tommy's been there since the beginning, almost since the beginning with Zordon, and understands his ideals to the point where Zordon infused him with his own power to become the White Ranger.
Right.
So he's got part of Zordon inside of him.
So, wait for you.
Rated G, man.
Yeah. But no, that's true. So he has like the essence. Of
Right, he has the essence of Zordon. And then you want the other side to be kind of like, you know what? The way that Zordon was, that was a different era of being a Power Ranger. Let's have a new era of Power Rangers where, maybe we look at all sides of everything. Maybe we do this, maybe we do that. And I think Kruger's the perfect choice because he's the kind of guy that's like, no, it's military. This is what we
Kruger's
do.
The perfect
This is what we
choice
do.
for that. I definitely.
So you almost have, and at that point, you really do it. Like either side is right.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a wrong side.
And that's what makes a good story. That you like either side that you choose, either side you side with. If you can find some point, see their point of view, then it just puts you like you're just super confused. Like who? Like am I?
Well, the ultimate question is, what would Ninja do? That's what we gotta ask, right?
Well, Ninja would definitely be on the Zordon side.
Oh yeah, Ninja
Zordon
would definitely be on
side.
Zordon.
I agree with Zordon. I just want that.
I mean, you would have that, but then you have like if this was a bi-dimensional thing, the RPM guys would probably side with SPD. So it would be very interesting to see who would side where.
See, there are two ways that they can if they really want to do like a Civil War story, they could do it in the comics, or they can make a video game. Like a fighting game.
I mean, technically, they could if they wanted to do something big for the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
They could almost build the whole. Like, if I was to do Power Rangers, I would do Lupin versus Potter Ranger, but I would build that whole season up to have other Rangers choose different sides until you get to the finale, which would be like a 5-part finale.
This is what I'm excited about. Why I'm excited for Beast Morphers because the show is 7 years old.
Yeah.
The source material is 7 years old.
Original.
I think that they might actually film a lot more like shots from New Zealand, like a lot of it.
I think so. That's what I think because of how old it is. They're just like, we don't want to use too much. Let's just shoot what we got, and then they're gonna keep doing it that way. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
So I'm looking forward to that actually.
Beast Morphers?
Heck yeah.
I am. I'm definitely looking forward to Beast
Well,
Morphers.
great, because that's going to bring us up to our next topic. However, before we get into that, you guys chimed in about this Power Rangers Civil War business, and we're going to talk right about it. David says Civil War doesn't need a villain team, just different ideals, which is a point we brought up. Masked Rider Blue says, hell, Lupat adaptation, if you do the team up, we can have some Rangers side with Pato, some Rangers side with Lupin. Just another idea. Jared Hodges says, I would make it where 2 Red Rangers, one from the past would be Andros meeting Jack, they would come to a deal, and I don't attack your team, you don't attack mine. That's another thing too. Ranger teams making deals together.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool like kind of philosophy as well.
A little alliances between people.
Also, Power Rangers Civil War might happen in Lupat. This is a lot of people are saying that. So that is that. Now we're gonna move on to Beast Morphers, our next topic, and you guys are excited about Beast Morphers.
Yeah,
premieres February of 2019. That is official now.
That's when they started.
Bro, your breath.
Sorry, that's when they started the last season too, right?
Yes, February 2019.
Or 2017, February.
Yes, 2017. So you guys are excited about this season?
Yeah, man.
Not now that I know that the date when they're gonna release it, because that means that they're gonna have those same hiatuses. If it's around the same date, they're still gonna have the same hiatuses.
So they can able to run all the way into summer.
Well, I mean, we still don't know if they're gonna do the two season thing.
Let me ask you guys a question about Beast Morphers. Now, one thing when I see a new Power Ranger team that I look at is, do they look like Power Rangers? So, I'm sure that you'll be able to get them to grow on you, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I don't think the Samurai cast looked like Power Rangers when they started. I don't think they really looked like Power Rangers.
What made it so they didn't look like Power Rangers when they?
I think they all look like Abercrombie models. I don't think that.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I know that's a weird thing to say because essentially, yeah, Jezzer was the one that said it. Like, what did you say about people being ugly and they can't be Power Rangers? You said something like that, right?
Great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Stay tuned for After Dark, guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Oh,
Jezzer's up for the task on this special After Dark. Spotlight on. So, this cast, do they look like Power Rangers to you?
They look a little on the young, innocent side.
See, here's the thing, and that's the problem, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Here's my problem. I'm excited about Beast Morphers, but here's my problem with this. Is that everything that we've seen, everything that we've heard, this is all going to be taking place in like a Ranger Academy.
Yeah.
Right? So we led to believe that high schools don't exist anymore and they just skipped right over and went straight to Ranger Academy?
No, they're most likely definitely high schools, but we're just focusing on a Ranger Academy.
You think that they look old enough to be in a Ranger Academy?
Starting off kids, yeah. Like, they can't be kids in the Ranger Academy? I mean, Zordon was like, I want teenagers with attitudes.
Here's the problem with this, though.
Completely irresponsible.
Is that the problem with this is that if you're in a military... This is why I liked SPD. They all fit the age that they were supposed to be.
That makes sense. That I definitely
Like a
agree with you.
military
And you're
prep
looking,
school?
yeah, and you're thinking to yourself, well, why would you pick kids to be in a military prep school? It's once again completely irresponsible. I get it.
I think that I you know what, and I respect the cast that they chose, and I haven't met these guys, but I think that Hasbro may have made the mistake here just a little bit that they should have went older.
Yeah,
I felt like if you
this
wanna,
was the time. This was the time.
This was the time to cast a little older,
older? Okay.
because that way you want it. You set the precedent of like, no, we're taking this more seriously. You know what this tells me? This tells me that we're gonna get a lot of jokes, a lot of fart jokes.
A lot of fart jokes.
Fart jokes?
I mean, that's what we have in both since
I get what he's saying with Monty and
Neo Saban era.
Yeah.
I think that this tells me that we're gonna get it's gonna be a jokey season. That we want to, and like I
Can't be too serious
I'm
when you're
gonna take one thing that Chip Lynn said in the panel, the big panel that they had about Riv the Castrofield. He said, I think Power Rangers lost its way, and I think that when we got to space, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, that it lost its way and it lost its comedy, and that's why when Haim Saban brought it back, he said to this point, he said, I think that pretty much we bring back the comedy, and it's
That's
and you got to look at
that's a bad way to look at it.
You got to look at the demographic it's for. Now I disagree with that, and I keep going to this. And Matthew Thompson was here last week, and he tried to explain the difference. Got another super chat. He tried to explain the difference. I didn't even see. Mine's late. Bat Ranger says, I wonder how they'll use Beat, J, and Gold. I know how they're going to use those guys.
You do.
I do, but I can't say it.
Oh well.
But here's the thing. My problem with his comment was, even Matthew Thompson tried to explain it. There's a difference between a family show and a kid show, and I don't think there is a difference.
No,
there's no such thing as a difference between a family show and a kid show. Because every show that I was presenting, he's like, well, no, that's a family show, but it's meant for kids too.
Yeah.
The greatest example I can use, and something you're familiar with, is that Power Rangers should grow up with this audience just like Doctor Who does.
Yep.
And then once they just work as Doctor Who is, we're getting a new Doctor. So that means we're getting a new... It's going to be almost not rebooted, but it's going to be for a new audience as well to jump on.
Right.
Just like a comic book is, right?
Yeah.
A comic book storyline, progresses where you got your first story arc and then here's a jump on point.
Yeah.
And I think that this show should do the same thing. We're stuck with these Rangers for 2 seasons. Let that be their 2 seasons, let it grow up, and then you got time to reboot it. But just because it's a kids show doesn't mean adults can't enjoy it too. And I always like referencing Coco here.
Okay.
Or the Pixar in general.
Pixar in general, yeah.
Pixar those movies are for kids. The Incredibles 2 is for kids. But guess what? I was an adult and I still enjoyed Incredibles 2 just as much as kids did.
Same with the company DreamWorks. They make a lot of kid movies.
Yeah.
But it could be enjoyed by a lot of different ages.
Definitely.
So I think like when Chiplin says something like that, that's kind of pandering to the kids. It's like you're keeping them, like you're keeping their mental capacity at like absorbing this information at the same level the whole time, and you're not gonna have them like want to have question different things or question different storylines. It's just gonna be, I don't know. It's gonna be like brain sucking for them.
Blackwing, hold on before you. Blackwing says, "Joe, you're ruining my expectations a bit, man." Well, guess what? Let me just say, Blackwing, if you don't like opinions, what are you doing watching our show? Live in your own world, do your own thing.
Can I say something though? There was a video going around in Power Ranger groups of this kid that asked the Forever Red panel about the Legendary War and the Super Sentai version of that, how it didn't make sense. And then Andrew Gray had said that if you like, he said what you said. He said, if you guys want the show to be better, if you want it to grow, then complain to the creators.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Power Rangers really don't have any control over how things play out. If you guys don't like how the show is going and you want it to grow, do what Joe did, do what we did here, complain to the creators and
voice your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that there's very specific type of fans that some are always gonna be in love with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Yes,
and I understand that because that's an entry point. However, if I'm not able to speak my point of view, nothing's ever going to change.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it is, right? And I think that so many people are like, oh, you can have high expectations, but when they get ruined, you only have yourself to blame for it. Because at the end of the day, those are just expectations. At least I'm forewarning you, and these two guys are forewarning you too, of what our opinions can be to make the brand stronger. Now, I am happy with what they're doing with the Lightning collection because I think that that's a smart move.
Yeah,
however, I think that if you take Beast Morphers apart, and listen, you guys, I feel like every single year we set ourselves up for failure. You guys too. Is that Ninja Steel is going to be the greatest thing? Oh my God, Peter Sadar's as a Power Ranger. This is going to be amazing.
I was excited. I was excited.
You might not have.
I was excited.
I was in that room. Everybody was excited.
Really?
And then guess what? You got Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
Did they not watch the Super Sentai series?
Regardless, though, I mean, you can say that about other seasons that are, like, if Lost Galaxy's completely different than what it was in the Super Sentai.
Actually, Lost Galaxy was good, and so was its Super Sentai counterpart.
Oh, really?
Gal Ranger.
Gingaman.
Gingaman. Okay. But I think that that's setting yourself up for it. You're setting yourself up for failure when you kind of, like, don't curb expectations or don't expect... You gotta think about it logically. If this is going to be, hey, this is kind of a militarized ranger thing where they're going to like a ranger school and they do this and they do that, and then you get kids, it's kind of like, wait, what?
Well, how does this match up? Exactly.
And then another problem too that kind of like you guys should have seen this coming is that, hey, now we're casting for the comedy roles. You know what I mean? Remember, like, hey, the casting for the comedy roles.
Usually that stuff they cast like when they get to New Zealand, you know, kind of like local casting.
But it was like a big thing.
But here they, you know, that was part of it. So the thing
is, see, what I feel, all these things just lining up and adding up, it sounds more like, it doesn't sound like Chip talking, it sounds like boardroom execs talking, saying we need the kids to be able to embrace this, and this is what the kids are going to like, and this is what's going to sell toys.
You know what? I think
that's what it feels
me
like
personally, I think the Power Ranger writing has gotten lazy. What I mean by that, and Trip Lin is a pretty good writer. Yeah. He wrote the majority of the good episodes from Space and Lost Galaxy, and he's went on to do it right. I don't think that's what it is. No, because I don't think Chip Lin's turning in his scripts to executives and saying, "Oh, this is what we're doing. This is what I want to do."
Right.
I don't think that's the case.
He's given a template.
I think what he's saying.
I think they're talking.
I don't think so. I think he's like, you know what? Let's for kids. They want more comedy. I'm just gonna write episodes that are just based around comedy.
So is he giving up?
I don't think he's giving up as much as he's settling. I mean,
and collecting that.
You tell me in the past 4 years what's been dynamic about his storytelling.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel that like what makes someone that writes really good episodes for what was, some people say, some of the best seasons of Power Rangers, and then he turns around and just says, fart jokes, that's what's gonna do it. It's like, wow. What writer
listen,
says,
I'm sure.
I'm here for that.
I'm definitely
unless I give
sure.
up?
I'm sure that there's a mandate saying, "Hey, we need it to be more comedic. We need this. We need that." But I think it's just easier for him to be like, "Okay, well, this is just easier to do." And I think that might be the case. Nothing against Chip Lin, because I think Chip Lin, at his core, he's a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
He's done some of the best work. But I'm sure there's a lot of people he does have to answer to. But I don't think that's the problem.
No.
I don't think that's the problem. I think what the problem is that we just accept what they give us, and then, you know, as hardcore fans, they outcry, but in the general population, Power Rangers still goes on.
Yeah.
And I mean, like somebody like a Blackwing is like, oh, you know, you're ruining my expectations. Well, then don't have any, and have fun with next season.
Whoa.
If you,
Wait,
What
yeah.
are your expectations?
Time out. One person having an opinion about something ruins
I mean,
your
that's
opinion?
not. I mean, that's.
He's just saying it.
He's using
not,
that
he's
example.
not like, yeah.
But we should move on to our next topic, and that is going to be Beyond the Grid. Power Rangers Beyond the Grid coming to NYCC.
Yeah.
You and I are going to be in New York.
Are we gonna be able to go?
Yeah, I think so. Well, at the very least, we'll be able to talk to JD up about it.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
at the very least, we're going to figure that out.
Oh, maybe we could actually have Boom come.
We probably can. We'll be talking to. We're probably going to be talking to Boom anyway.
Yeah.
But Power Rangers Beyond the Grid is officially announced. Their panel's going to be at New York Comic Con. I'm excited what they're going to do. And we just found out today that one of these Rangers that you're seeing here is going to be at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
So, do you think that one of those Rangers there could be hosting this panel? And imagine if they brought the majority of them back together.
Ooh, they could definitely
Yeah,
bring.
they could, right?
At least
and
hold
you
on,
get your buddy
hold on.
Russell Lawrence to
No,
sing.
I think at least maybe two of them. I think they could bring two of them.
Yeah.
I think two. Yes, I agree with two. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see two. I can see two.
Possibly three if they really want to.
Well, let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
What are you guys? I'm excited for this team. Probably more excited for this team than I have been. Well, the book's just been really good. But
Dude, this is our Guardians of the Galaxy done in a really great way.
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know if it's going to be our Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Until we do, I
Yeah.
just feel like, it's a ragtag team. People that usually wouldn't see all literally together from different teams all together,
Yeah.
putting together to do what's right or whatever.
yeah, I'm excited
You know?
to see this team in action. I'm excited to see their interactions just in general.
Yeah. I'm more excited to see what the plot is. It's still pretty vague.
Now,
Yeah.
going back to
It's that panel.
Shattered Grid.
Yeah.
What did you... I mean, we talked about the ending a little bit. Do you think this directly picks up right where the ending happened? Or do you think this picks up right as that battle's going on in Shattered Grid?
I think it picks up at the very end of it.
Because I almost felt like in Shattered Grid, we almost get a Thanos snap of like, we
Yeah.
don't know what
Pretty
happens.
much, yeah.
Exactly. And we don't get a resolve. We don't go back to what was going on during that war.
Nope. So I really
Thank you for blowing
Thank
that
you.
out.
I was gonna say,
What's with
appreciate
you
it.
and the gas, like the gas that you have
Is it
going on?
pineapple?
It's the
Jeez.
coconut berry.
Pronouns, pal. So we're excited to see Shattered Grid. We're gonna see what they do with it. Yeah. Oh, guys, we got a little Cosmic Protectors is getting some
Yeah.
getting some love. We got another page, or we got another thing back. It looks really good.
Nice.
And our last news story, we're not going to leave us much time to review the episode, but we don't need much time to do it.
No.
But the last news story is going to be the Bandai Tamashii Nation's Soul of Chogokin
Chogokin.
Titanus released.
It's die-cast metal, guys. Yes, yes, and yes. Go to Amazon and get it now.
But
That's my answer.
I think though how badly the actual Legacy Titanus is sold, I think that might be the same trend that's going to happen with the Soul of Chogokin. The Soul of Chogokin Brontosaurus Megazord, or what do they call it? The Japanese Sentai's Bronto something.
Spit it out, buddy.
I don't know what it was called. But
You could also say Titanus.
so Titanus.
Anyway, I'm not a big collector of mechs. I don't like them at all. But, I mean, it looks cool, I guess.
The only one,
Titanus!
actually, the only
I don't care.
the only formation like
Killing
this,
me here.
the only formation
Titanus.
that I'm looking forward to for this is the actual Funko Pop version of it.
Oh, you
The one you can only get at Target that you'll never find.
They'll never find.
Because the Target people will see it and like, oh, I'm gonna keep this.
Is that really what they do?
Yes.
Yeah, it never gets to the floor.
No.
It never gets.
You'll go to
if
Target,
anybody
you're ready.
knows, if there's any way to actually find this thing and get it before Target gets their hands on it, let me know.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about this line for a second. Now, we know that Hasbro takes over the rights to the Power Rangers. The toys come out next year.
Yeah.
How do you think their Zords are going to be? Seeing as they already do Transformers, they already have a leg up on that stuff. Do you think that the Zords, because the Zords are essentially made by the Japanese version.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So is there even that much they're going to be able to do in comparison to what Bandai's already doing, or already was doing?
Probably the only thing the mechanic. Oh, there you go. The mechanics are going to be really the same because it's going to have to replicate what you see on the show. But I think the quality of the product is going to be a little better. The plastic, the joint, the screws, I think the durability of these toys are going to be better.
Durability for the playability? I don't understand.
Yeah. Look at Hasbro toys versus Bandai toys.
Bandai?
Bandai toys. The quality is definitely different.
Now, do you think the quality is going to be better than the Tamashii Nation stuff?
I think it's going to be on par, actually. I think it's going to definitely be on par.
You think that do Transformers figures are any of those die-cast metal that Hasbro makes?
There's
No?
not
All
anymore. They don't
plastic.
use die-cast
They're all
anymore.
Plastic.
They're all plastic. They don't do the die-cast metal. They do plastic.
The
Plastic.
Japanese Transformer toys do, right?
They
'Cause
did,
I have a few of the actual regular cars that turn into Transformers characters, and they're die-cast metal.
They're die-cast metal, yeah.
The expensive ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Interesting. Now, what do you think the price point for something like that's going to be?
I think it's going to be the same.
Huh?
I think it's going to be the same.
The same. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for that was it for the news. Let's get into this episode. Actually, so we got Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. The episode was called, what was it, Jezzer?
The Day in the Life of Joe at Morphicon.
No.
Fan
It's called Fan
Frenzy.
Frenzy. It's literally on the screen.
Fan
Come on.
Frenzy.
Give it the new program. So Fan Frenzy is all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
It's actually Joe's life.
I'm telling
No,
you.
it's not my
is
life. I don't know
Joe's
why you
life.
keep
It
saying that.
is. It's just
It's
instead
Joe.
of when he comes where he sings, instead of that they're just like, oh Joe, can we sit down and do a live stream with
cool.
you? Like that's
You're so
it.
cool.
It's just, they're so.
I wouldn't
cool.
blow people off the way that guy did.
Well,
Yeah,
no, okay,
that was
no,
uncharacteristic
no.
of
It was.
him.
I felt it was uncharacteristic of the character.
Yeah. Wasn't there an episode where he was with a fan and he was just super... I mean, it was a little girl, a little kid, but...
But still, he was so into it. Like he is a character that gives his time.
Pronouns, pal. Who's the he?
I
Levi.
forgot. Yeah, there you go.
Levi.
Levi does take the time to sit with his fans and converse with them. He'll play his guitar and sing pretty much what happened.
Maybe
at the end.
maybe it's taking on the mantle of being the Gold Ranger and being a music star. Everything it's just too much for him right now.
But he's been that for a while. It can't be all of a sudden now. Oh, it's too much.
So here's the thing. I think that
it's
one thing I
uncharacteristic.
liked about this episode, though, number one, is that they actually talked about him being a music star and him literally having to say, I'm focusing on school. Because I do find it a little strange that he's just kind of like, I'm
I'm a music
star.
star. I know a few people that they left school who can, chase their music career.
Yeah. Don't we all?
So, I think that that's kind of weird. I mean, I'm happy that they touch on that. I'm happy that they do something with it. Another fun thing that I liked about this episode, too, is that the monster had nipple rings. So that monster was Josh Goldman.
That monster was Josh Goldman.
Here, look at those. Look at the nipple tassels.
Tassels. It's tassels.
Nipple tassels.
Whoa!
Did you guys not notice that in that
I did
episode?
not notice that at all.
But I do like how the
Now I'm
monster
afraid.
looks. I think that
It's a pretty cool design, yeah.
it's a pretty cool design. He looks menacing. He looks scary.
One thing I hate about Power Rangers, current edition of Power Rangers, by the way, I've just been rewatching Lost Galaxy. The villains in that are phenomenal.
Yes.
So good.
The
plot line of the villain
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Well, because
Like Villamax
Yeah.
is great. And his little buddy Kegler reminds me of you.
I
Except not
I
as-
need to watch it again. But it's because with
Can you pull up a picture of Kegler?
Kegler? It's because those characters
Actually
in
reminds me of Daniel
Lost
Nagami.
Galaxy, they had missions. What was it? Within the first season, it was the Lights of Orion.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they had missions. They had
Okay.
goals, and it wasn't like a mission or a goal that had to be stretched throughout the whole season.
it's
good.
It was little goals, in between. So I think that's what made those series great is that they didn't follow it. The whole plot line was not for 46 episodes or something. It was a lot of sagas in between, little different sagas in between.
But I do agree with Jezzer. The look of this monster is brilliant. And again, I was going to say the one thing I hate about the current renditions of Power Rangers is that the villains sound so stupid.
Yeah.
There's Kegler. There he is. That's Daniel McGum.
That's so messed up.
You know, actually,
Hey,
so
that's you.
that's actually a main character in the Super Sentai. That they just, I guess they didn't give him a big role in this series.
Kegler's great. Kegler's great. But anyway, in this episode, the villain, I don't like the voices of the villains. I think they're stupid. I think they're like goofy.
What if
comical.
like one of the voice actor comes in, he's just kind of like,
He just stands there the whole time watching you.
He's like, oh.
This is
But
my job.
that's one thing. The other thing that I loved about this episode is
Marty McFly, Teen Wolf.
Well, that was cool too. That was a
So
little callback.
good.
But no, the one thing I did like is how do you calm down this guy? Playing music.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Sing a song.
you sing to him.
Sing a
Because he
song.
said, hey,
You have to-
he did say earlier, that's what calmed him down when he has problems with his mom and his friends.
Yeah.
That song, calm me down, man.
Calm him down. Just calm him down.
That's it. Just calm me down.
I like it. I also did like the gold. We got the Gold Ranger using the
Gold Ranger using the
lion fire. The lion.
Thank
the lion
God.
fire. Yeah.
Thank God.
I like it doesn't make sense to me. At no point in time when they have free time, it's like, hey Levi, you want to see if this works on you? You know?
No one's ever said, hey, let's
Try
check it out.
Let's just try it.
take
Everybody,
away Morph real
I
quick
feel
and
like
see if this
everybody
works.
else on the team has got to wear that armor.
There's also a flaw. There's one of the bigger flaws that I saw in this episode is when they first meet. He meets his fan and he says, "Hey, can I take a picture with you using your burger morpher, your famous burger? Sorry, your famous burger phone." And he's like, "Yeah, okay. So you want me to take the picture using my thing? How? What? Why don't you just take the picture when we hold it?"
No, because what he wanted to do was after you do that, which he didn't get, to see. He's like, could
I'll
you
write
send it
down
to
my
me
email
now?
address.
Yeah,
That's-
could you send it to me now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
Negative.
send it to your email. No. Send it to me via your phone. So now he has the phone number. That's why you don't.
Well, even email. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Dude, I sent it via my Instagram. The end.
So
the
strange.
end.
You know what I usually do on episodes of Power Rangers, the Retro Range wrap up? I usually give airs and notes. Well, guess what? We got some notes for this episode already.
What?
Yes.
So when Mick
Already.
looks at his werewolf form in the mirror, he says it looks a lot like a cross between a troll and a yeti.
Yep.
The reference this is a reference to Phineas from Mystic Force and Norg from Operation Overdrive, two characters Kelson Henderson played in those respective seasons.
Wow.
Oh, that is a deep cut.
Okay,
That is dope.
Chiplin,
That is dope.
Chiplin.
Wow.
Chiplin, that's great.
Hey.
Good job.
We got another one. So this episode marks the first time Levi uses the Lion Fire armor, which we kind of discussed a little bit.
Yeah.
Neither Madame Odious or Badana
don't.
make an appearance in this
They
episode.
don't.
That's true.
They don't.
It's true.
And last but not least, Levi mentors the big bad wolf in the Megazord. This is a nod to the story The Three Little Pigs.
Makes sense.
Fun facts about the episode. There you go. But overall, and in the chat, I want you guys to let us know how many Ninja Stars do you give this episode. And Daniel, we're going to start with you. And also, do you have any fun moments from this?
Besides what we already pointed out, because the
nipple tassels?
the burger phone thing was just like, okay, you're such a stalker. I told you what I felt about the whole character. It's not the way the character should be.
Oh yeah, we forgot to
addressed.
talk about Victor,
Teen Wolf.
Victor Vincent, and
hello.
doesn't he remind you of
Yes,
Bernie
he
Bregman?
does. Yes,
Victor
he does
Vincent,
in
Bernie
so many
Bregman,
ways.
BBVV.
Yeah, it's so true. The Teen Wolf moment was. I was cheering when we were watching it because the Teen Wolf moment for me was it was great. It was right on point, and he looked great for it. If we do another Teen Wolf, that's my Teen Wolf already. Done. I'm finished.
Chris is great,
that was my
though.
cool moment.
I do like at this episode end where he's like, no. That was great. That was funny.
I didn't. I think they don't kids don't understand the value. Like they always go to $1 million. $1 million. I'm going to offer you $1 million.
They don't understand the value, but
Yeah.
no, they
You
really
just know
don't.
you hear $1 million, and then that's like you're going to be that you're going
Well,
to be
you're
rich.
going to be, yes, you are
You're
going to be a
gonna be
millionaire.
You're going to be rich. You're going to be
You're not
rich,
gonna be a
rich
millionaire,
beyond,
no.
rich beyond.
You're
You
not
could stop
gonna
working
be-
and not do anything else.
Well, you can
That-
stop working for $1 million.
Can you though?
Yeah, because interest, if you just put $1 million in the bank, well, you have to work for that first year.
Well, but the thing is,
But if you put $1 million in the bank, the interest alone is $100,000 a year.
yeah, but the thing is, you also remember before you get that $1 million, Uncle Sam gets his part.
Yeah.
Then after that,
Well,
your
it
agent, your
depends.
manager, and everyone
It depends
else
if that's
gets
the
their
laws
part.
in New Zealand.
Yeah, it depends on if that's the law in New
Whoa,
Zealand.
that's true.
I don't know. All right, so did you have any fun little things that you liked
Well,
about this?
Daniel pointed something out when we watched the episode. The fan watched the Power Rangers morph, and yet conveniently He didn't remember that they morphed.
I knew
He
he
wants to
wasn't going
morph as a werewolf.
Yeah.
But if you recall, Mick also didn't. He was like,
Didn't
"What just
remember when
happened?"
Yeah,
when
yeah.
He didn't
pulled off.
remember he was
That's
a
the
werewolf
thing.
either.
My thing was also
It's too much convenience.
how did Monty know to pull the claw out?
That's well, Monty's obviously smart.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
He's
how
the
did he
human
know?
kegler. That's why.
That's
He's the
why.
human
He's the
kegler.
human
Smart.
kegler.
We don't give
That's
Monty
it.
enough credit.
We're gonna give.
He's
We're
the
gonna.
human kegler. That's it.
All right, so you guys in the chat, Bat Ranger gives it a 2 out of 5. Anna Miles gives it a 3. Zill Nation 1 gives it a 4. Larry Newbill gives it a 4. We also have. Well, this is going really fast here.
Fight scene, I did love it. I did love
Toku
it.
gives it a 1. David gives it 2 burgers. Edward Sanchez, hashtag Edward Sanchez approved, gives it a 4. Thank you so much, Edward, for joining me on Meet the Movie Press the other day. Layla gives it a 0.5. Black Wing gives it a 3. Steve Rogers gives it a 4. Jared gives it a 4. So there you go. What do you give it, Jezzer?
I'll give it a 3.
Trey. You?
Dude,
I'm going to go
Oh.
ahead and give it a 3.5. I actually like this
Ooh,
episode.
You're very generous.
I think it is.
Because
Honestly,
it's your life story, man.
it is not my life story.
your life story.
You know what, Jezzer? Let's pull the curtain back. You're digging your hole a little deeper. So I'm pretty nice to the people we meet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't tell them get the. Hey, that's just you, guy.
hey, no, that wasn't the person he met. That was someone messing up the shot. That wasn't like someone. Oh, hey, I'm a fan. Blah blah. No, that was someone messing up.
What
the
about you? You don't. You.
Oh my God, I'm so nice to my fans.
Yeah, right.
So nice. to my
Super
fans.
nice.
They'll tell you that. They'll tell you
No.
that. Like I've fanned out about who was it?
You weren't so nice
Anthony
when
Davis.
Robin Chan asked you to prom. Oh,
She never did. And she never did.
She did. I saw the video. I did see the video. Well, I don't have it. I don't have it. I didn't get sent to me.
We should show it.
Didn't get sent to me.
We should show
Oh,
it sometime.
my God.
It didn't get sent to me. Someone actually showed it to me.
There you go. So that's what you gave it. That's what you gave it.
Yeah.
Overall, not a bad episode though.
It's not
If
bad.
you realistically think about it, ever since Dimensions in Danger, the episodes have been decent.
The fight, the kill shots, like the last episode with Preston and this one with Levi, they looked actually really cool.
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
fight scenes where they kind of just killed the monster.
I
they
just
looked pretty
think that no matter, it sucks too because no matter how good the episodes are going to be for this point forward, it's a little tainted because the episode started off so poor.
Okay.
And I think that
Okay.
it's easier to start on a high and then get crappy episodes and then be like, okay, well, it's still not that bad. But this started low and it's trying to build up. And I think that was the.
Do you think they intentionally did that?
No, I don't.
Oh, no,
Well,
not at all.
You know what?
Or
Maybe.
they just they finally figure out how they could do the show and it's like, oh man, it's too late, but let's just go. Let's just finish off on a high note.
They're like, you know what, it's too late, but can we at least try to redeem ourselves in some way?
Yeah.
I think, and that's what they're pushing for. Like, they saw, ooh, let's try to redeem this in some way.
Let's try to redeem this. But that's going to do it for the Ranger wrap-up. But right now is going to be the Henshin Hangout. And I mean right now. So I'm going to wrap up business. We're going to get out of the way and bring in Justin Cuson. My computer's going to die, by the way. So
Okay,
I don't know
that's
if I
fine.
want to use it or not.
It's fine. We got it.
Have fun. Vamp is producer Daniel Nagami will tell you. Give my phone.
Whoop.
This is what a transition's called.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Dope. There you go. Where's Justin? Justin, join me!
Woo! Hey,
Dang.
what's up?
Hey guys, it's Henshin Hangout, and we lost someone again. Fitting. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Did you enjoy this new season of Kamen Rider?
We'll get to my feelings until
Yeah.
we get to the episode
Yep.
for surezies, but I will say, I didn't know how to take the new show yet.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. Like,
I think that's for any show. Like jumping
Yeah.
into any show. Like for me, picking shows on Netflix is a
Oh, yeah.
huge task for me. Because I mean, you could go based off what people say or what
Mm-hmm.
the people watch, but there have been some shows where I just see it keep popping up on my queue.
Yeah.
And then I just like, I got some free time. Let me jump in and let me see what this is about. And majority of the time, I have not been displeased with what I was watching. I actually enjoyed the series to the point where, especially if there's multiple seasons on there, I'll just binge it. It's like, oh man. But I think that's for everything. When you start a new show, if you feel obligated to just like absorb as much as you can within the first episode.
Right.
And I think that's a disservice to us. I think that they stretch the shows out to a point where they're going to give you enough time to get to know these characters and get to really get a real good feel for the show.
Right.
But I mean, definitely like watching this series or starting the series, I think that I'm going to miss Build a little bit.
Of course.
Because it's grown on me, especially you watched it like week by week, but I watched it as a long-ass movie.
Yeah, you
And
did.
so I in a short period of time, I've grown to love it so much that once it's over, you kind of just hope that the next season is going to be good.
And for you specifically, Build Your First Kamen Rider show.
Yes, very first.
So you have like kind of like a baby chick.
Yes.
That show is imprinted on you as the show that like got you to be excited about Kamen Rider.
Definitely.
So because of that show will always have a special place for you. Mm-hmm. So anyone who comes after Build is always gonna be like,
I'm gonna like automatically compare it to the previous season.
Always.
Is that how it started off with you?
Oh yeah, like when I watched Kamen Rider Force for the first time.
Yeah.
To this day, I still compare every Kamen Rider show
To Forze?
to Force.
Should I watch that too? Should I like probably dual watch?
Oh yeah, watch Force.
Especially with the website we have, it's perfect.
Oh, I think Force is great. I've people who will listen to me about what Kamen Rider shows you want. I always say go to
That's
Force.
awesome.
All right, now, please jump to
Just
the
stick
Henshin
around.
Hangout. Oh, wait, are we gonna get a link in there?
Just stick around, you guys, because we have so much to talk about. We're
Yeah.
starting a new season of Kamen Rider, and we have so much to talk about. We want to dissect some of the things that they're going to be expanding on, so stick around. You just got to wait. Be sure to
Ready to roll on
watch
that?
Henshin
All
Hangout
right.
with me and my buddy Justin here. So come on, just hang out for a little bit. The
Link's
link is in the chat, you guys.
Awesome.
So just click that. You'll be set up. You're going to be prepped for the next show.
Here we go.